What up, YouTube? It's your boy Sneaker D back for another weekend of Kick Chat, brought to you by Kick Your Game. Today I got my co-host with me,
Got O. What's good, y'all?
and we got the one and only JL Smooth. Man, you might as well throw that the JL Smooth. Just what's good, bruh?
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Thank you for having me.
Nothing, man. So you already know how we start the show off. First question of the day is, what sneaker got you into the culture?
So there's a few sneakers that are in the culture. One that definitely comes to mind is the Jordan 1 Bread 1 2001 pair. Growing up, I know everybody remembers the East Bay catalog. Shout out to East Bay. East Bay catalog used to, come to the house and, used to look through it. I actually got the pair in 2002. Shout out to my grandma. My grandmother ordered it for me. That like that one pair of sneakers you can kind of like sneak from family. So shout out to her. I think they were like $90. This was probably like sixth grade. So that was a big shoe for me. School pants, wide legs, bread ones, swagging, trying my best. But shout out to the bread one. Another shoe that was big for me is the Royal Foam Posits. Probably I think it was the what year is that? 97 and 98.
Out.
But I remember just being on my stoop with my mom actually, and there was a guy walking down the block and he had those shoes on, and I was amazed. And my mother actually was amazed that she's into shoes, but she's not into sneakers. It just caught her off guard as well. So that was just like a big shoe. And weird fact, the guy also looked like Penny Hardaway. So it was just like, it just blew my mind. So that was like one shoe for me, the Royal Foam Posits. And like I said, I think the Thing Dunks, that was a pair in high school. That was huge for me. Part of the Fantastic Four series. Khaki and orange. I love that pair right there. So those three pairs.
All right. Well, that's definitely a tough three, and that also shows a kind of timeline. So before we get into our final question of the day, which is kind of like your sneaker journey, I just want to talk to you fellas about how do you guys feel about Nike suing Warren Lotus? You want to open this one up?
Yeah, man. I feel like for me back in I want to say high school, it was like the Bape and Nike like conversation. So it kind of reminds me of that. So I hope they win because I'm tired of seeing it. But I don't know if they could still produce some pairs, then he could say it's similar but different. It might hold up in court. So um, I applaud them for finally taking a step because he's like living off of the hype of dunks right now in this time period. He says, "All right, this is a move. Now I'm going to get on the wave and I'm going to make top dollar off of people who love dunks. And if this is something similar, I'm gonna get it and I'm trying to flip it. You know what I mean? So I applaud Nike for doing what they're doing. But I don't know, Warren Lotus, he might still have a case. So that's the thing that's where I am right now as far as that. I can't knock him in for trying to get his bread, but I don't appreciate him doing it off of the backs of another person. I mean, it's like cutting the legs off of somebody who's working hard to build their legacy. So hopefully Nike wins. I hope that they win. I'm rooting for them to win so that this culture vulture could not profit off of anybody else's hard work.
Jeez, yo, son? Son said they got beef from back in junior high. That calls him a culture vulture.
Yeah.
Nah, bro. Warren definitely stole old girl back in junior high, bro. That gotta be it, man. All right, JL, what up?
Um. So I think it's kind of like a win-lose situation for him. There's a lot of people who didn't know about Warren Lotus until this week, right? So I think that's kind of like a win, even though his site is shut down. I definitely hear what you're saying in terms of like him jacking things and taking things from people. I will say I think he puts his own spin on it with certain things in terms of like graphic design, and I think I'm necessarily talking about clothing, not the shoes. But something I think you got to talk about too is Jeff Staple. Like Jeff Staple did this with him, right? Yeah, there are other pairs made, but Jeff Staple needs to answer too. And I think it's weird that like Nike is going after Warren Lotus, but they're not going to go after Staple. And they don't want to ruin like the staple pigeon that they're going to come out with again, or what things of that nature. So it's kind of like Nike being cutthroat and they're going after one person, but it's kind of weird that they're not going after Jeff Staple. And I even saw like Warren Lotus kind of he made a tweet and he was like, Jeff Staple hit me up ASAP. So I think we need to talk to Jeff Staple too, because it's a question like I don't know how that works with royalties and Nike and like what they're tied into and things of that nature. So maybe it's something they need to start letting us see, being a little more transparent about.
My main feeling of when I heard about it, because honestly, I heard about it kind of late. One of my old coworkers hit me up and he was like, "Yo, how do you feel about it?" And I was like, "Wait, they're actually suing him?" Because like O said, going back to the Bape, they let Bape rock forever. Like Bape had 2 runs. Like it was when we was back in high school with Cassidy. You feel me? It died down, and then it came kind of back out with Lil Wayne. With the Bapes, 2 times, and Nike never said anything. Then Warren Lotus was kind of rocking for a while before they bring this lawsuit up. Like he did the Freddy Cougars, he did the Heinekens, and I guess now because he's touching the Jeff Staple pigeon ones with the cosign of Jeff Staple, now Nike feels some kind of way. And my thing is, bruh, you could have stopped this whole wave from going crazy with a simple cease and desist a long time ago. A simple like, yo, cease and desist a long time ago before going into suing. I personally feel like, yo, Nike let his hype build to now sue him, and then they might mess around and re-drop the pigeon dome and gonna use this as like their personal hype machine. Like to me, that was kind of corny because we've seen Nike let it rock with so many other companies. To wait this long to do it now, like one, I think the Jeff Staple whole thing is corny. Like I don't support that. I think that's trash. Like he is way too close. Like at least Bape, they changed that whole check sign. To me personally, the Freddie mask doesn't make it. The Jason mask doesn't make it that different. He's way too close. But Nike had ample time to address this in other ways than waiting for him to get at the highest height of what it is he's doing to now try to bring him down. Me personally, I think that's corny.
No, I definitely hear you on that, and they're asking for, I think, double or triple of what he's made in profits and things like that. So it's kind of like what you said, that they're waiting for him to reach a certain point to kind of like crush him. It's weird, but I think that other opportunities open up. I think in a world right now where like creatives are like so big and treasured and valued, right? Like Warren Lotus, and I'll be completely honest, I don't know that much about him, but this could be an opportunity for him to now like collab with someone else because now he's cut out of his own thing or something like that. So I think opportunities could still, it could possibly work out, but I definitely hear you on like them waiting last minute and just saying like, all right, we're stomping you out.
And I also want to know what's the difference between Warren Lotus and let's say someone like the shoe surgeon. Like I just want to know that finite change that makes him suable and not like the shoe surgeon has sneakers on GOAT and StockX. You feel me? That he's customized and he's selling, and they're like other than material changes, there's no change. Like I want to know like why they letting this like that's what I want to know is how they pick and choose. Like I don't like the fact they're suing him because it seems like at least to me selective bullying. Like all right, we're not gonna let you rock, but we've let so many other people rock with the same exact thing over the years.
Like in the same token, like Nike still gets their bread with shoe surgeon. Like it's not like he's not paying for the shoe and then deconstructing it to reconstruct it. They're still getting a cut of that bread. I feel like with Warren Lotus, they're not getting any of that money with the semblance of the shoe looking so close to things that they've done in the past.
How do we exactly know that the shoe surgeon is actually buying Air Jordan 1s and reconstructing and deconstructing them? Bruh, if he could have started that.
Because they haven't sued him yet.
But that's what I'm saying. We don't know. He could have started that way, but at the point he's at now with the otter skins, the crocodile skins, he could put this stuff together himself. Who really knows, bro? I don't know. I just feel like, yo, if you don't want nobody jacking your stuff, that means it gotta be on site for everybody. You feel me? Like, you just can't be like, yo, it's not cool for this dude to do it, but this dude is running around and making profit off of it. Y'all still ain't say nothing to them dudes at bait ever. Like, nah, like, listen, free the homie Jeff, man. He ain't date my girlfriend in junior high school. Oh, you on your
So
own for that one.
let me ask you a question. So what do you feel about like the designer companies that are taking? They're not exactly the same, but they you know that they're definitely inspired by certain brands, especially Jordan brand, Nike. So like, what do you think about that? And should they come after those companies?
Of course. And this is what I'm saying. For me, for years, I thought like, yo, it, I guess all press is good press. You feel me? So I thought that's why they never did it. Like, even with the base, at the time, the base were using the patent leather, and so was Nike. You feel me? And the base were so exclusive that kind of like it drove Nike prices up, because if you couldn't get the base, you could still get a patent leather pair of Air Force Ones. So I thought it worked hand in hand. This is why when I seen Jeff Lotus doing it, I'm like, oh, it is perfect time to line up with Nike Dunks. So if this really gets popping, it benefits Nike Dunks. That's what I'm saying. Like, they let Zara do it every year. Like, I think it's corny across the board, but I just don't know how they select who they want to sue and who they don't. But yeah, that's my final thought on that. So now let's talk a little bit about our sneaker journeys. Just kind of jumped into it early. I guess I'll start with mine. We all know the sneaker that got me into the infatuation was the Jordan 5 Laneys. But I would say my sneaker journey started off like most of ours, where I would cop like whatever pair of Jordans was coming out, like that I could get. It wasn't every pair, like, whatever I could save up my money for and get, that's what I would get. And then I say late high school, early college, I started to get into the dunk phase. The pair of dunks that really got me interested in the culture was the Sen Helps. They had that. It was a suede teal in the back, high tops, black and white in the front. It was kind of it was fire. Like, that teal was different than anything I've seen at that time. And then I like just say like, yo, she got the things at my mom's house. When he brought it up, I was like, damn, I wish I had it in the crib. You know what, Just? And they're your size too. I might be able to sell those to you if you need them. I might be able to sell those to you. I got you. So yeah, it was definitely the dunk phase. Then back to Jordans. Around that time, Wale really got the foams popping again. And Wale, if you're listening to this show, you definitely owe me some money, because y'all remember them SFC days. I had almost every color foam, and I look back, but between the foams and uh Gucci Man and not Gucci Man, Jeezy and the Gucci's, that's when I learned like, yo, stop following the hype. Y'all remember when Jeezy did that video? He had his feet up on the table and they had Gucci on the bottom. Like, yo, the streets is going stupid. So I definitely took some of my college refund money to cop those pairs. I remember walking down Fulton. I was looking like you know when you look down at your feet and you're just like, yo, I don't even like these. You feel me? Like, everybody thought they were fire for what they were, but I'm like, yo, me personally, I don't even like these. And that's when I learned, like, yo, you know what? I don't care what the fad is. If it's not something that I legit like, I'm not getting it. And ever since then, it's really been predominantly Jordans. Like, I may cop a pair of dunks here or there very sparingly. Maybe I'm starting to kind of get into New Balances, but even that's at like, a distance and not, going crazy with that. But yeah, man, I would say that would be my sneaker journey. Or just want to go next?
I guess I'll go. Um, I was just thinking about some things you were saying, just saying like finding what you like. I think that's definitely been a part of my journey. Like you, I feel like I got caught in a few fads and a few lanes where I was like, I like these, and then impulse buys and you buying, and then you crack them, you wear them, and it's just like, what was
Yeah.
right? But then I also feel like there are a lot of sneakers that like I had to have personally for me to appreciate them too. Like from a distance, I might have thought like, and then like for one sneaker, I would say the Jordan 9, the playoff nines. I used to hate that sneaker, and it was just like, I hate. And then when I put that sneaker on and I looked at it, I was just like, oh no, this is it. Like, I love the Jordan line. You know, I love that color specifically, that colorway. Um, but for me, the big thing is like quality. You know, I used to with different brands, things of that nature, designer brands as well, and then I also realized the quality of some of these shoes, like yeah, uppers might be leather and suede, but some of the soles were like super thin and things like that. And like they just didn't last very long. So I'm really big on rubber and thread, Jordan ones, um, which are the J's, the 12s are super durable, 11s, 13s, super durable, 14. So I'm just kind of into like what's gonna last the longest. That's kind of like yes, I love the threes, I love the fours, I love the 5, 6s, but I'm more into like it's the quality. Also, like when I felt a pair of 85 ones for the first time, I was just like, yo, it feels like punching bag leather. Like it's just, like, or even like the 2001s, the ones we were talking about those yesterday. Like to me, that color is just different. So it's just like certain things that I appreciate that like I'm gonna always have certain pairs and certain things that I like. And because there's certain things that I want, I can't keep up with certain things like me and Yeezy, like I'm at a distance right now. Like you, I like New Balance, I like Adidas, but honestly, I need to do a little more research, a little more work on it, especially with Core Classics. Shout out to Core Classics. That's our brand. Me and J Stacks and BL and a lot of other great people. But like we're focused mainly on like streetwear, vintage, Jordans for sure. With Nike, trying to venture out to other brands, but with my journey, it's kind of a snapshot of my journey and the people around me, their journey, and as you can see, like a lot of it is like for the most part it's gonna be like vintage, quality, try like kind of timeless pieces. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's dope. That's very informative too. Like naming which sneakers out of the joints have like great quality. Um, you said 14 in there, and my sneaker journey starts with the Langley 14s. And then after that, it goes into the Jordan 11s, the Space Jams, where I could afford it. I took my Christmas money and I just caught my own Space Jams. From there, I kind of turned into a hype. I kind of turned into a hype beast. But for me, it wasn't really hype beast because like, I just want sneakers that not many people have. So that took me to like the Supreme Air Force Ones, the hot top ones, and that took me to like uh the fragments. I was like, I just want things that people aren't gonna have. Even if I pay retail or resale for them, I just wanted things that not many people are gonna have. In the dunk era, what's crazy about the dunk era is because it was kind of the dunk and the blazer era. So I found myself like getting more blazers than I would dunks. I had some great dunks, like I had the Buffalo dunks, the Hawaii joints, but I found myself getting more blazers than dunks. And then from there, like in that same time, I was getting Bapes too. So it was like Bapes, dunks. I had forgotten about Jordan sparingly in that moment. I would say like high school, uh, '05 to like I don't know, '08. I have forgotten about Jordans. And then when I get back to college is when I'm like, all right, bet. Now I'm due Jordan. Looking for quality in Jordan. Um, Fell in love with that. And then I fell in love with Nike basketball, like Nike basketball kicks too. When you like find players that you love, like Kobe or like KD, you're like, all right, this model is great. Like the models, like Kobe's from 6 to like 8, great models. KD's from like 4 to like
Hmm.
he missed with 5, But
5 was terrible.
he missed with 5, but there's some decent 5s. The 6 was good. The KD 6s were good, durable. Um, and then like D said, Wale always brags. I still got them friggin' Tim. Here's a funny story. I had the opportunity to get the cement threes, the black cement threes, or the Tim Duncans. And guess which one I got? I got the Tim Duncan. So Wale owe me. He owe me. That's a durable shoe though. He talked about quality and durable. Yo,
the air bubble on mine hot.
Bro, I walked in the snow with those. Like that's a durable shoe. That's an ACG boot right there, bro.
Yeah, composite is a snow boot, bro. You get the Air Force High snow boot. Foams. I don't wear foams through the snow.
Listen, that is true, bro.
Talking about a durable shoe. And now I'm at
those the tracks, the track shoes for the snow. That's what they're like. Put those in.
Thanks. And then to end my journey, like where I am right now, it's kind of a mixture of all those things, right? If I could get my hands on a gem, I feel like is a gem. Like just you talked about the 01 breads. Not too long ago, I got those. Not too long ago, I got those. Still hype beast as far as like I go get some Travis's. Like the reverse check on the Travis's is a go for me. I still want to get the 85. I still want to get the 85 reverse breads because, like you said, that leather quality is amazing. Need that. And then I still get GRs because I used to be at a point where I was like, I'm not even gonna get a GR. But if it means something to me, then I'm not sleeping on it anymore. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna come back to it. I just get it right away and then worry about everything else later. So that's my journey. That's where I'm at now as far as my sneaker journey.
Before we get out of here, there's one question that just popped in my head, and I definitely want to swing this to you first. Streetwear brands. And I'm not sure if one of the brands I'm about to mention is really a streetwear brand, but it was heavily adopted by the streets. Do you think that Supreme will ever have that longevity of Polo? And the reason I bring this up is Polo definitely has its errors where it's like the most popular thing. But no matter if it's in its up season or its down season, it is always like the cool thing. Like you're never like out of season, out of fashion once you're rocking low. But they are like legit, has a legit fan base that's all they rock. You feel me? And it kind of reminds me of like right now Supreme is on the high. It's like the fashionable thing to do. But I remember back in 04, 305, Supreme still did have that cult following. Like, yo, like if you was out in Soho, you seen it. You feel me? Like, so I look at it right now and it's high, and I know people are trying to trash it because it's the popular thing to do right now. But I just want to know, like, do you ever think Supreme will get into that Polo era where, like, yo, no matter if it's like the hype beast thing or not, it'll still be cool? Or do you think like once it's no longer the hype beast thing, it's done?
So I mean, Polo very special to me. I think Ralph Lauren is like a great brand, and for me, it goes back to that quality conversation in terms of like I think a few years from now, a lot of pieces that I have, I'm going to be able to wear, and to me, that matters to me when I'm making purchases. So and I think that's something that Supreme has. I think Supreme, that's really great about Supreme is while they are their own brand, it's a lot of collabs. So it's like it's almost there's a world where they never go out of style because whatever's hot they can mesh with, and I think that's important. Also, I think skateboard culture is really big, so like that's another lane to it. We see like the dunks coming back in, and Jordan 1s initially, like skateboarders use Jordan 1s prior to people thinking like, oh yeah, I'm wearing them. So like I think that's another part of it, like skateboard culture. We see like Nike releasing certain dunks with skateboard, skateboarder Jordan ones with skateboarders or dunks with skateboard companies. So I think, I think right now, like people are reaching out to them. And another thing that I thought was huge was like the Louis Vuitton collab. And I think Louis Vuitton is one of those companies that we all felt was like, Louis Vuitton isn't going anywhere, right? Like it's a staple. But to me, it was kind of like a cry for help. Like they reached out. So it's like, like that's also like a, that's a notch on their belt. And that's, so I think they're only going up. I'm not the biggest Supreme fan, but I think they have definitely made some crazy pieces, things that I've never seen before. So, I think that, I think they'll continue to be one of the top brands. I don't think they'll ever be Ralph Lauren, because I think what Ralph Lauren does is outside of streetwear, right? So like I know the question was about streetwear, so I think in streetwear, Supreme will be there. But I think, I'm not sure. Listen, they might make a Supreme suit. They might, I think the possibilities are endless. So I'm just not sure. I think it's just kind of like seeing what the next step is. But I've been impressed. I'll say that. Like I said, I'm not a big fan, but I've been impressed.
Oh,
do we even go? I think
yeah.
I think Just summed it up. He summed it up pretty well. Like Louis reaching out to Supreme is like a serious notch. And they've been around since '94. Like if that doesn't show you like stability, then nothing else will. That's a long time. Think about the decades that you have to go through, the ups and downs that you have to go through throughout that time to still be here, to still be relevant at this moment, to gain so much relevancy that you it when somebody not like they had a knockoff Supreme, like a knockoff Supreme store overseas, bro. So like you have relevancy when you get to that stature, where in order for another place to be great, they have to now say, all right, we're gonna emulate what they're doing over there. You know what I mean? So Supreme, I don't feel like it's ever gonna like lose its course in as far as streetwear goes, because also like Jess said, they get so many collabs, like so many people want to work with them, that they could venture out into other places if they choose so.
That knockoff store that was in Japan.
I think it was over in Asia somewhere. Why you about
I
to,
don't like,
you about to,
nah,
you about to take a trip?
we over here talking about Warren Lotus and Nike. I'm like, yo, Asia's really wild. Like they didn't just not they had they knockoff. They opened a whole establishment. Like, yeah, that's kind of crazy. But me personally, I think Supreme is gonna have a lengthy run, but I don't think they'll have the longevity and the irreplaceability of Polo, for the simple fact that when we talk about streetwear, yeah, skateboarding and stuff like that, but it's really like at this point, it's a kind of like the hip hop culture, right? And what I think Supreme does a good job of is including hip hop culture into their thing. Like this Mary J. Blige shirt, this is Supreme shirt, right? But Polo, like the hip hop culture ingratiated Polo. You feel me? Like Polo never, like, I don't want to say pandered, but Ralph Lauren, like he he's seen the colorfulness of the culture and he definitely ingratiated that into his clothing. But like that was on an organic pickup. Like that happened because the streets was legit feeling it. When the Supreme sometimes, like you said, like they'll latch on to the hot thing or a cultural reference. Like they just dropped the Supreme Clientele T-shirt, which was kind of fire because that's Ghostface album and it's Supreme Clientele. Like that's kind of fire. But I'm just like, I don't know. Like after a while, like it may wear off. Like or like the younger artists that may not want to collab. Like I just feel like Supreme won't never. So I feel like what made them super popular and successful is also a downfall because I don't feel like the Supreme backbone of itself is strong enough. Like right now, if Polo does a collab, which Polo doesn't have to do, or they do something like that, it'll take off like anything else. But like at the end of the day, Polo is Polo. You feel me? Like Jordan right now, Jordan does a ton of collabs, but Jordan is Jordan. Nike is Nike. You feel me? Like it has that strong base where I don't, me personally, I could be wrong. Y'all could disagree with me. I don't feel like Supreme has that base that's strong enough to, have that longevity of success they're experiencing now. But that's just me. So, fellas, let's talk about what's on our feet before we get out of here. You know what? We're gonna do Southern hospitality. So, JL, you go first.
On the feats right now, Otre ones, the pack, the poker pack. I forget the name. I think it's the Hands of the Game or something like that. They came out with the Blue Moons, the Clays, the Otres, the Track.
Yeah. Which color?
Black and yellows.
I'm gonna say, yeah.
Black and yellow.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll go next. GR Poppy now. I got the fire reds on. Very, very basic today. Very meaningful. So I caught them. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I love that pair too, man.
And I had to whip out the pair that no one cared about. The JTH threes. These tan Johns. Yo, to me these are fire. No one really cared about them, but I was excited to get them. The only thing Nike lets me win is the things nobody else cares about.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
Shout out to those.
Thank you, man. I guess because it didn't drop on it didn't drop on the Super Bowl, people don't care about it. But that is the show. Thank you guys for coming out. YouTube, I want you guys to like, comment, subscribe below. We want to get this page. The goal is 1 million, man. Let's just get these subscriber numbers up, man. Till next week. Peace.
All right, y'all.
All right.